In this video, we'll be talking about making variations on the sounds that you design, how you do it, and why you should do it. When you're building your sounds, take a few moments to create some variations. This is absolutely critical for any non-linear media like video games, where you need to have many variations of each sound to avoid repetition. But in linear media, it can be really helpful as well. Once you design a really cool sound, you want to get more use out of that. It can be perfect for that one scene, but if you want to use something similar with a similar character, just take a few minutes, copy over all the files, and then just shift things around. Timing shifts, volume shifts, panning, automation, EQ adjustments, all these things, they can be pretty subtle, but when combined, you get a lot more variety out of a simple sound. And it's much easier to do that when you have all those layers available rather than trying to randomize, apply processing to just like a stereo file later on. You never know when you're going to need these files again, so it's great to just, take a couple minutes and create some variations. All right, so let's make some variations here on this sound effect. We're just going to take all of these files, make a selection like that. Making it a region is a smart thing to do. And so we'll just copy that region over to here. And let's just do it a couple times. Let's once again listen to this sound. So one really easy thing we can do is start shifting things around in time. So this metal door and stuff, how does this sound when we just push that like right up against these other impacts? That's quite a bit different. We can nudge some of these other ones a little bit earlier. We can pull this one back, make it shorter. We can do less of this. And these debris, just basically shifting stuff around in time and not touching the EQ, not touching the levels. We have a variation. So here's the first one. And the second one. They're similar, but especially the transient area is different. Now for the third one, it can be really cool to take your EQ. And so right now I'm doing this sort of 350 hertz dip down, right? What if we do this? What if we do this? Yeah, that's interesting. So actually, better start automating before I go change this too much, because that will affect all the other variations, including the original one. So I'm going to go into latch preview mode, and then I'm going to move this around. So like right here, and you can see my automation parameters come up as I touch parameters. And I can adjust maybe the timing on this. Different type of fade. I think you get the idea. There's so many different things you can do with this. Where is that EQ? Let's solo this. It might be cool to do that. So I'm just gonna commit my latch preview automation, and I'm gonna take that high frequency shelf, and from about here to from about there down, I'm just gonna move that down. And I'm gonna move this one forward and this one back. And let's automate that level. Bring the fire down a bit, bring the hiss up, bring the debris down. In just a couple minutes, I've taken one sound effect that I designed myself with many different layers, many effects, and I've turned it into 3 layers that I can then commit to stereo files. I can keep this as is. I can use this as a sub project. There's so many ways that I can use this. But now I have 3 variations, 3 starting points, really, rather than just the one. It's also important that I did this early in the process while I'm working on it, rather than coming back to this days later, months later, and not really remembering what I had done. There you go, guys. Hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you missed the video on how I built up that explosion sound to begin with, I'll have a link in the description for that. If you haven't already, hit subscribe, follow me on Facebook and Twitter, support the Reaper blog through Patreon, and visit reaperblog.net for a lot more tutorials.